Welcome to the Magic is You podcast, where we talk all about being the fullest expression of you and making the journey just as beautiful, if not more so, than the destination. It's time to say yes to desire. It's time to turn up your magic. The most powerful version of you is the fullest expression of you. Hey, Michelle here. In this episode, I wanted to talk about the beauty of systems thinking and how it helps in everyday life. So you might know that I have a whole program around creating systems. It's called Sacred Systems, and it guides women through using Notion to fully and finally get everything that is in their head, in their life, in their business into a system. And I believe that that is something every woman deserves to do. And I believe that Notion is the tool that's robust enough to hold everything that women are carrying. And when women lay all of that mental overload, I almost said overlord. When they lay all of that down, that frees up the capacity for women to get perspective, for them to make better choices, for them to see what's working and what's not working. And that capacity is everything. It is gold, and we just cannot access it when we're running around trying to remember everything, trying to do everything. Like, you literally can't get perspective when you are in that mode, and it's really a survival mode where all you can do is keep doing. And when you have capacity to step back, then you're able to look at, what am I even doing? And do I want to be doing this? Or how could I do it better? Or how could I do it less? Like, all of that comes from no longer holding it all in your head. Because when you hold it all in your head, you just become someone who's just working. And you never become someone who thinks about the work you're doing, who makes decisions about the work you're doing before you do the work. And that is where the magic is. Like, even today, at the beginning of every month, I create a calendar, and I would do this whether or not I had a business, because I love having a printable calendar for myself to map out my areas of life, what's going on in the month. So even though I have it all in Google Calendar and in my system, I still like to have this printable version. And because I have more capacity now to tune into my body and tune into my energy, I was able to kind of sit with the task of every month I make a calendar, and I was kind of able to sit with it and be like, you know what? I'm tired of making this calendar. I do not want to sit in Canva and create a new calendar and have to plug in the new dates for the new month and then double check that the dates are correct. And I was like, okay. And that's the thing. It's like, that capacity helps you tune into your body, and your body is where the wisdom is. And my body was saying, we don't want to do this. And I listened. Like, that is everything. I listened. And then I realized, you know what? I, over the past couple months, have built up the skills to create tools to do the things that I used to do manually. So how about I just create a tool that makes the calendar for me? And that's exactly what I did. I did it this morning. I had the idea this morning, and I made the tool this morning, and I printed out the calendar this morning, and I put it up on my website this morning. So if you want to check it out, just go to the link in the description, because I'll put a direct link to the calendar tool, and you can make your own calendar yourself. And not only did I make it, I also added in all these cool things where you can add the moon phases to your calendar. You can add your cycle to your calendar. You can have your calendar in a different language. You can add the holidays for where you live. All of these cool things are in the tool now. And so first and foremost, I'm going to benefit from this because every month I'm going to go in there and print out myself a new calendar. And then also my community benefits because now they can take charge of making their own custom calendar according to their language and their holidays and their phases. All of that is such a value that I'm adding to my business without adding more work. So that's the thing. It's like I looked at the thing that I needed to do. And because I was able to not just be in survival mode, I was able to make a better decision about the thing I needed to do. And the decision was, how about we create a way where we can offer this every single month, but not actually have to do any work to offer it every single month. So I literally created something that keeps the thing that I do every month, which is offer a new free monthly calendar to the community. I'm able to keep doing that. And now it doesn't require any time, effort, energy, work. Like all of that part is completely eliminated. And this is not a unique one-off example. This is literally what happens when you're able to stand back from your to-do list and you're able to look at it objectively from the vantage point of what is my body telling me. And survival mode is toxic because it makes you numb. It makes you ignore the messages from your body. It makes you not as smart. It makes you treat your body like a machine instead of this magical, intuitive map to all of your desires and all of your well-being. And I've just been reflecting on this and thinking about all the times where I was in situations where I was working my ass off and not being compensated fairly, and it was never going to pay off, and it was a toxic codependency, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like if I were able to have one small way to hold on to being able to, like, it's a very confusing place to be. Like survival mode is a very confusing place to be. Codependency is a very confusing place to be because you're in it and you just have all of these great intentions and you're working hard the way everybody says, just work hard, and you're wanting the best for everybody. Like all of this confusing, conflicting stuff is going on. And so what is the simple solution to that complicated situation? The simple solution would have just been to have a practice of tuning in and asking myself, what is my body saying? Am I sacrificing my well-being in this process? And if the answer is yes, then this process is toxic. If I have to sacrifice my right to feel good, to take care of myself, to rest, to not work too hard, if that is required for me to be in this relationship, whether it's a relationship you have with your business or a relationship you have with your partner or a relationship you have with a company you work for, if I have to sacrifice myself in order to keep this relationship going, then that is a toxic relationship. And that is a sign that something needs to change. It's not a sign to work harder. It's not a sign to just, I put in so much and I just need to get to the other side for this to pay off. No, that never happens. It never pays off. You're just left with resentment and a body that now you need to recover. So I might have gotten off topic, but the simple tip that I wanted to give you today was like, I guess it combines this approach of being oriented around your well-being and using systems thinking so that you can have perspective and not feel bogged down. So, very simple example of this is throughout the course of your day, you will come across little things that are meant for you. You will come across tips, whether you hear it in a podcast, a YouTube video, read it in a book, just little things that are just meant for you. Whether it's, oh my gosh, I love that dress that girl is wearing. Or you're listening to a YouTube video of a lady recommending books, which is what I was just doing before this podcast. And you're like, oh my gosh, I want to read that. And I want to read this and I want to read that. Or you are in perimenopause and you are navigating all of the advice that you are now reading and listening to and watching. And you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much information. What do I do with all this information? How do I translate it into something that will actually, be something I can do versus something I'm just absorbing and learning? The practice that I do whenever I come across something that I feel, oh, this is meant for me, is because I have a Notion system where everything has a home. I just apply systems thinking to be like, okay, where does this tip go in my system? And that is where you are able to never get to a place where you feel bogged down, where you feel like you've just been consuming, and it hasn't added up to anything. Is you need to have a system for saving the information in a way that it will serve you. So let me think of an example. Let's take the perimenopause example. You're learning about perimenopause, or maybe you are just, whether or not you're in perimenopause, if you're a woman, learn about it. I'm not in perimenopause, but I am learning about it. So what did I do? I created a hub in Notion to gather all the resources of what I'm learning. And that's like the bare minimum thing you can do, is just create a bucket for that information and throw things into the bucket. And then over time, you can get more sophisticated. If you're using a system, you'll automatically be doing this, where you will be thinking about, okay, how do I want this information to resurface? Like, when and where does it make sense for this information to resurface so that I see it in the right context and at the right time? So maybe you have a practice of getting your blood work done. And so every time the system reminds you that it's time to get your blood work done, you have it linked to the hub of all your perimenopause information. And in that hub, you can see the notes and the information that you want to take into the appointment and be able to say, okay, I want these tests done and I want to look at these markers. Like, that is just a very simple example of thinking, okay, I'm learning all this stuff about perimenopause. How does that relate to what I'm actually doing in my life? Another very simple tip is maybe you're learning about perimenopause and they say, okay, woman, you need to be strength training. Like, it's important now more than ever. It's going to help you with your hormones. It's going to make menopause so much easier. Lift those weights. Now you're thinking, okay, systems thinking, where does that go? All right, strength training, they're saying it's ideally done at least 3 times a week. All right, so that needs to go into my habit tracker so that I can track the days that I'm strength training. And when I do my weekly review, I can look back and see, did I do it at least 3 times this week? And so just that very simple gateway between consuming information and turning it into the system that supports you in implementing the information, that also has this amazing effect where you feel like you've unlocked like 2.0 in terms of self-care. Like, the ability to make sure that what you're learning turns into what you're doing, and for that not to be a stressful process. Like, so much of us learning things turns into making notes here and there, and it doesn't actually turn into implementation because it's just too much and it's too scattered. And then it makes learning feel like this stressful thing because, oh, if I learn something new, that just becomes another thing I need to keep track of. And oh my gosh. And that's where you hear women talk about how, oh my gosh, I'm doing all the things and it's so exhausting and it's so this and it's so that. It's because, yes, you're doing all the things and it's all in your head. If we were putting all the things into the system and then just let the system tell us, okay, today, this is what's on the agenda. You don't need to worry about tomorrow. You don't need to worry about yesterday. You don't need to worry about next week. Just today, here is what's on the agenda of your health, your recreation, your inner work, your home, your finances, your business, your relationships. Here's what's on the agenda. And it's this beautiful, curated collection of everything that you have deemed important to you. It all reflects your values. It all reflects what you have said that you're interested in and what you are wanting to research and learn more about. It all pertains to you living your best life now, not later. And so the more we can get everything out of our head, it is just such a whole new world. And without systems, I don't believe you can actually get it all out of your head. Like a really robust system. Like, I love paper. I printed out this calendar printable, but there's limitations to it. It's a nice thing for me to look at and just visually check in with myself, but it has limitations. So I want you to be thinking about how you can really support yourself and where there are gaps. Of course, I would love for you to join Sacred Systems, but I want women to just be thinking about this in general. Like, we have all defaulted to tolerating just using our body as the system, using our body as the thing that carries everything all the time, all at once. And your body is meant for more. Your body is brilliant. It has messages it wants to tell you. It has things it wants to say to you. And it can't do that when there's all of that static and all of that baggage. All right, that's what I wanted to share today. I will put the link to the free calendar generator in the description. I'll put a link to Sacred Systems. And if Sacred Systems feels like a lot right now, I created a whole beautiful, simple, elegant dashboard that gives you a taste of what it's like to have a feminine approach to systems and planning. And it's a lighthearted way of tasting Sacred Systems, but it's still very, very helpful and still gives you a sense of feeling supported and feeling like you can get things out of your head. So if you want to check that out, it's called The Sacred Pause, and I'll put the link to that in the description as well. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Magic is You podcast. If you would like to join our newsletter, go to secretowlsociety.org/newsletter. See you next time.